You picture your ancestor as a dumb, grunting brute, but he could name every plant, track any animal, and read the sky like a book. He was the smartest human who ever lived.
Last time, we found a Stone Age forager still hiding inside your body. But how did this ancestor of yours actually live? Picture him for a second in your mind. You probably imagine a brute gripping a heavy club, always carrying a spear, always ready to fight a lion. That picture is wrong.
The truth is almost the opposite of that story. Your ancestor was not mainly a hunter at all. He was a forager. He wandered the land and gathered whatever he could find to eat. He dug into the dirt to pull out ants and ate them. He picked bright berries straight off the bushes. He pulled roots from the ground and cracked open nuts. And yes, sometimes he hunted rabbits. Only rarely, when he could, did he bring down a mammoth or a great wild bull on a very lucky day. Foraging was the foundation. Gathering food was the real base of how he survived. The mammoth was the exception, not the everyday meal. But he did not only forage for food, he foraged for his tools as well. He gathered wood for handles and shafts. He cut reeds from the water's edge to weave and bind. His world handed him both his dinner and his tools. Yet the most important thing he gathered was something else. He foraged information. He gathered knowledge about every corner of his region. He knew exactly where the animals liked to roam. He knew where the berries and edible plants grew. And he knew the exact season when each one ripened. He knew which food would fill his belly and keep him going. He knew which plants would make him violently sick, and he knew which ones could actually heal. He could press a chewed leaf onto a wound to calm it. He read the sky. He knew when each season was about to arrive. He could feel a storm coming before it broke. He could sense a long drought before the rivers ran low. His region was a living map inside his head. He knew where every spring of fresh water hid. He knew every tree that carried something good to eat. He knew every pit a careless step could swallow. He knew every cave that could give him shelter, and he knew every place with the right stones for his tools. The walking encyclopedia. And it was not only knowledge in his head. Every single person in his community had real skills. Each one of them could chip a knife out of plain stone. Each one could mend a hide that had torn open. Each one could set a clever trap for rabbits. Each one knew what to do when a snake struck, and each one knew how to face a hungry lion. None of this was easy. All of this took years of theory to learn. And it took years more of patient, hands-on practice. Let me show you just one of those skills. Watch him pick up an ordinary rough stone. He turns it slowly, reading where it wants to break. Then he strikes it at exactly the right angle. Flake after flake falls away under his hands. In just a few minutes, the stone becomes a spearhead. Now it's your turn. Hand that same stone to a modern person. They would have absolutely no idea where to begin. We simply do not carry the knowledge he carried, and our hands never learned the skills his hands knew. He knew his world deeper. Your ancestor understood his world far more deeply than we understand ours. Now, compare that to how we live today. In the modern world, you barely need to know your surroundings to survive. Maybe you are an engineer who designs one kind of part. Maybe you sell insurance behind a quiet desk. Maybe you are a teacher, or you stand at a factory line. And to get by, you only need that one narrow field of yours. We lean on everyone else. For everything else, you lean on the skill of other people, and each of them is locked into a tiny field of their own. Add it all together, and humanity knows far more than ever before. Our shared collective knowledge dwarfs anything our ancestors had. But here is the twist. Look at a single person, all on their own. On that level, your forager ancestor stands above us all. He was the most knowing and most skilled human who ever lived. You are one specialized piece of a vast machine. He was an entire universe of practical knowledge in one body, a genius in a hide wrap. But there was never just one single way to be human. Out there lived thousands of tribes, scattered far and wide, and each tribe carried a whole world of its own. Next time, we step into those wildly different worlds. So the brutish caveman was a myth. On his own, your forager ancestor knew more and could do more than almost anyone alive today. We are each a tiny specialist now. He was a whole world of knowledge in a single body. But there was never just one way to be human. Next time, 1,000 wildly different tribes, each with its own world, and the day we made our very first friend. If this changed how you see your ancestors, share it with one curious person, and I will see you in the next episode.